Ayo, what's up, killers? It is your final girl, Mel, and this is my killer podcast. What's up, guys? Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are new here, I am not only on YouTube, I am also on Instagram, Letterboxd, TikTok, and Patreon. I also have a Discord group called The Movie Room. Check me out on all my socials. The links will be in the description box below. So what we are doing today is we are going through everything that I watched in the months of June and July. I did not do one of these Letterboxd review videos in June because I didn't watch a whole lot in June and I didn't want to waste everybody's time. I did watch a lot of stuff in July, so this might be actually kind of a long video, but we'll see. So without any further ado, let's get right on into it because we got a lot of stuff to go over. So starting in June, I did watch Wild Things because, as you remember, that wonderful Arrow box set came out. And I ended up liking this one a lot more than I did originally when I saw it. The release Arrow put out was amazing, obviously, and I got the Steelbook edition, and the quality of the transfer was outstanding. I do have a video where I open it up and we dig through everything that it came with and go over the special features and everything, so if you want to check that out, feel free. I did give this one 3 stars and a heart. I could have pushed that up to 4 stars, but I didn't feel like I really needed to do that. Then I watched Studio 666. This one was just plain fun. As you know, this is the horror movie that the Foo Fighters did, and it's just good, cheesy fun. If you want a great popcorn flick to sit down to and maybe laugh, maybe check out some gore, this one is the one. I gave it 3 stars and a heart. I did really like it. I'm gonna kind of try and tool right along here because there are quite a few things to go over, so I'm not gonna dig too deep into it. I did end up picking up Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. This was when all the Johnny Depp stuff was going on. I wanted to support him, and I wanted to support Pirates of the Caribbean because if they are doing another one, I would like him to be in it. Nobody can play Jack Sparrow but Johnny Depp. I gave it 4 stars and a heart. I really liked it. The original Pirates of the Caribbean cannot be beat. Next up, I watched a movie called Last Looks. This one flew under the radar a little bit when it came out. It's brand spanking new as of 2021, and it stars Charlie Hunnam, and he's kind of a rogue detective-ish person. I don't really know. But he goes, he moves out of the city to get away from all the shit, and he ends up living by this pond with an RV. And he has only 100 things, exactly 100 things to live, which I thought was impressive, and then kind of got me thinking about my life and what would my 100 things be. 1 through 99 being movies, probably. Anyway, I gave it 3 stars and a heart. This one was actually really fun. So if you guys passed this one up, maybe go back and check it out. Then I watched The Craft because this one came out in 4K from Scream Factory. I gave it 4 stars and a heart. This one, it just has a lot of nostalgia for me. I watched it when I was a kid. Me and my friends used to run around pretending we were witches and everything. It's just, it's a good, fun movie. It gets a little dark. The transfer, not so great in spots, but good enough for The Craft. Next up, I watched Teen Wolf. This was in preparation for I believe it was our very first Rad Pack episode that we did. We did a deep dive into Teen Wolf. So if you guys want to check that one out, I'll try and link it below. But this one just gets a solid 4 stars for me and a heart. It's a great movie. It's fun. It's nostalgic. Is it perfect? No, but it has Michael J. Fox in it and he's adorable. Next up, I watched The Man from Toronto. I have been so excited to watch this movie. I've been waiting for it forever. I follow Woody Harrelson on Instagram because I love him. I love you. So I've been seeing a lot of pictures they've been posting about the making of this and just kind of waiting for it. And now that it finally came out, I had to watch it and I liked it. It got 4 stars from me. It's nothing new or groundbreaking or anything like that, but seeing Kevin Hart and Woody Harrelson teaming up in like a Rush Hour kind of way was a very interesting duo. It was funny and heartwarming at times, so I definitely recommend checking it out. I gave it 4 stars and a heart. Then I watched a movie called Spiderhead. I don't know why I watched this one. As you can see, I did do a written review if you guys want to check it out. I was really disappointed in this one, and it kind of made me mad. This was one of those Netflix movies, I believe. And it had Chris Hemsworth in it, which I'm not ride or die for him, but it had Miles Teller in it, and I kind of am ride or die for that one. And I read the premise of it, and it sounded really interesting, so I popped it on and I watched it, and it was just not a great movie. The story was interesting, but kind of dumb. The acting was pretty good, but I don't know. I think it was the story. The story and some of the dialogue just killed it for me in this one. And it really left me wondering about Chris Hemsworth's career. Like, what is he doing? Thor over here, one of the biggest blockbuster Marvel universe people ever. And then over here, he's doing Spiderhead. Like, straight Netflix original maybe, or just straight to Netflix movie that's terrible. Like, how is he doing both of these things? Anyway, I gave it 2 stars and a heart, and I gave it 2 stars because I really do find Miles Teller to be charming, and he's a great performer, and I love all of his movies, so it was a bummer that I didn't like this one. Finally, after every one of you had recommended to me to watch The Guest, I finally did it. Thank you to my homie Born to Be Red for sending me this Blu-ray so I could check it out. I know Second Sight did an amazing squishy release of this one that I totally missed out on. I should have picked it up. I just didn't want to blind buy it because I hadn't seen it and I wasn't sure if it was any good. Now I wish I would have blind bought it because I loved this movie. Everybody said it was kind of Terminator-esque in a way. I don't know that I would 100% agree with that. It was more Upgrade in a way, I feel like. I don't know. But it was a very exciting movie. The lead actor guy, which I don't even know who he is, Dan Stevens, I think his name is, was just simply amazing in this movie. He did a really good job. Everybody really did a good job. I just kept waiting for the shoe to drop and waiting and waiting and waiting. And then finally when it did, it was like, oh, shit. You are all right. Everybody that recommended me this movie, I absolutely loved it. So thank you for that. I did give it 4 stars and a heart. Next up, I watched Meatballs. This was in preparation for our Camp Rad Pack episode. And I'm not going to lie, Meatballs, I didn't really like it. I'm not gonna lie. The movie had absolutely no point or purpose or rhyme or reason. It just had Bill Murray running around being a really cool guy in really awkward situations. I mean, there were some scenes in this where he's like laying on the beach or the ground, like inches away from one of the campers that's supposed to be significantly younger, and he's like flirting and he's having inappropriate relations with another camp counselor. I don't know. And he has this weird inappropriate relationship with a little boy. I mean, nothing happens, but he clearly shouldn't be letting a little boy hang out with him and stay in his cabin with him at camp. You know what I mean? Like, this is why we don't send our kids to camp. Anyway, just for all of those reasons, I couldn't with this one. 2 stars and a heart, and it got 2 stars because Bill Murray is amazing and I love him, but that is it. Then I watched Sharks of the Corn. This was one of my recommendations for Voyage to the Bottom of the Barrel, our movie review club that we do. And unfortunately, I logged this one. I didn't do a written review. It got no stars and no heart from me. This movie was fucking terrible. It was the worst of the worst. It was the worst movie we've watched on Voyage yet. Then I watched Dark Tower. This was also one of my recommendations for Voyage. I didn't think it was that bad. I gave it 2 stars and a heart, but I'm almost thinking I could give it 3. I didn't find it to be that bad. I was a little entertained by it, and I really, really liked the ending. So, sorry guys, I did kind of like that one. I didn't like it enough for MC to have to eat a whole cake, but I liked it enough. I watched Butchers. I don't remember what this movie was on Tubi, I believe. It's free on Tubi. Don't watch it. I gave it 1 star. It wasn't very good. This was another Voyagers movie I had to watch and review. Also, Curse of Humpty Dumpty. This one was a Voyagers movie review that I had to do. I did give this one 3 stars and a heart, though, because I didn't think this one was that bad. It was actually kind of entertaining. And Humpty Dumpty was a little terrifying. Did the movie make sense? No, but I would say most cheesy B horror movies don't, right? So next up, we have Heavyweights. This was also in preparation for our Camp Rad Pack episode. And this one, however, I did really like. I gave it 3 stars and a heart. I thought all the kids were really charming in this one. Ben Stiller was out of this world. He was fit. He was crazy. He was doing his Ben Stiller thing. I absolutely loved it. So I highly recommend checking this one out if you guys haven't seen it. Then we are at The Burning, which is another one that I watched for the Camp Rad Pack episode, and I gave it 3 stars and a heart. I liked it. I thought it was a good cheesy time. Not going to spend too much time talking about that one. We are going to move right along to The Breakfast Club. So I gave this one 4 stars and a heart. I just bought this Criterion, which is why I watched it, and I loved it. I clearly have seen this movie a long time ago when I was a kid. Upon rewatching it, though, the story doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me anymore. Like, it's a good movie, and I love the premise of it. The principal's hilarious. The kids, you know, sitting around and doing kid things is hilarious, and I just don't buy the love story part of this movie. At no point did they do any kind of romantic storyline between either one of the couples, and then all of a sudden at the end they're all making out and in love. So I don't know, that I'm not buying it. I didn't buy it. I don't know if I bought it when I was younger or not, but it kind of killed the ending for me. You know, when he's is it Judd Nielsen? When he's walking out of the school and through the grass and he does one of these numbers, he's like, yeah, I'm not buying it. I don't buy it anymore. It's a bummer. I don't. But I still gave it 4 stars and a heart. It's still a really great nostalgic movie. It always will be. But whatever. Next up is Hell Comes to Frogtown. So this one was recommended to me by my homies over at Dead Pit Radio. So knowing that I am a huge Rowdy Roddy Piper fan, They Live is one of my favorite movies. I did a podcast episode on it way back in the day when I used to do that. I went and I picked this one up. It was a Vinegar Syndrome release. Unfortunately, I didn't get that squishy slipcover, so if anybody knows where I can pick one of those up or wants to sell me one, hit me up. But I absolutely loved this movie. I gave it 3 stars and a heart, and only because it's good, cheesy fun. It was very reminiscent of Cherry 2000, if you guys have seen that, or maybe like a Mad Max-ish kind of situation. You know, the acting wasn't real great and the story was kind of stupid, but oh god, Rowdy Roddy Piper, he was just a fucking charmer back in the day, and I love his performances and the way he holds himself and his characters. So I had a lot of fun with this one. If you guys like these kind of cheesy flicks, definitely check this one out. There are definitely frog humanoids in this movie. Then I watched Flashback. So I've been talking a little bit about this one in some of the streams I've been doing and on Instagram. I really want to champion this movie because it was originally produced by Paramount, and I feel like it would make an excellent Kino Lorber release. It is just a fun throwback to the 60s, but made in the late 80s, early 90s. Kind of flick with Kiefer Sutherland and Dennis Hopper, dynamic duo. It's just a lot of fun, and there's a lot of nostalgia in it, and I highly recommend watching it. I used to watch this all the time when I was a kid, probably because my mom is definitely like a 60s baby, and so it reminds me a lot of her, but definitely please give this one a looky-loo. I gave it 5 stars and a heart. Not a lot of things on my Letterboxd get 5 stars. This gets 5 stars. Check it out. It is a comedy. It's not a horror. Then I did finally get to the theater and I saw Thor: Love and Thunder. So this is going to be a unpopular opinion, and I am sorry, but I absolutely loved this movie. I don't know why everybody is having the big to-do about this movie that they are. I heard a lot of things like it was over the top on the comedy, which it kind of was. It was almost borderline spoofy, but we all know that Thor is one of the Marvel characters that really pushes the boundaries with the comedy. We already knew that. And I heard a lot of grumblings about how this movie had no point. There was no point to it. Well, that's just straight up not true. This movie carried on a lot of storylines for a lot of characters and potentially brought back some characters that we may or may not have thought were going to have storylines again. And it set up some more movies at the end. So I'm not really sure what people are grumbling about when it comes to this one, because it's really showing Thor on his journey after everything went down. He needed to find a love of a lifetime, pun intended, and he did. And there's no greater love than a child. So there you go. I loved it. 4 stars and a heart. Then I watched this stuff. I watched this in preparation for my live stream with Dead Pit Radio, where we went over the cheesiest horror movies of all time. I watched this stuff because it doesn't get much cheesier than that. I gave it 3 stars and a heart. This used to be one of my momster's favorite movies. I love it. So go check it out if you haven't seen it. Next up, I watched The Ginger Dead Man. I don't know why I liked this one as much as I did. It's like a Gary Busey gets turned into a gingerbread man and he goes on a killing spree. Yes, it is as dumb as it sounds. I shouldn't have given it 3 stars and a heart, but I did. I don't know why I liked it. I'm just going to tell you right now. I don't know why. It was funny. It was funny. And last but very not least, for the month of July, I watched Hobgoblins. This one was also in preparation for that live stream with Dead Pit Radio. I just love this movie. I bought the Vinegar Syndrome release, what was it, a couple years ago or whatever. I remember this one from my childhood. I'm a tiny creature feature kind of gal. These are just my jams. These cheesy B horror movies with little monsters that run around and wreak havoc. That's just where my heart lives, okay? So 3 stars and a heart. I know CHH is going to be doing a commentary on Hobgoblins against his will, but I hope maybe he rewatches it and changes his mind that maybe it is just a fun movie, because it is. It's just a fun movie. All right, guys, that is everything that I watched in the months of June and July. Hit me in the comments below and let me know what you think about these movies. Have you seen them? Have you not seen them? Are you gonna watch some of them based on my recommendations? Let me know. But if you would like to help support me and my channel, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and kill that bell for your girl, and share me with your friends if they need some movie recommendations, because I got them. I got them. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you would also like to further help support me and my channel, log on over to my Patreon. I am always doing new things over there all the time. So if you want to know what is crapping in, log on over there, hit the link in the description box below and check it out. You are more than welcome. Until the next time we gather, have a killer day. Peace. When it did, it was like, oh shit.